The last video explored the 5 hallmarks of culture, a way to determine if a culture is a culture. Remember, there are several ways to define culture. The 5 hallmarks is just one way. Once we have determined a group is a culture, we can see which way they lean. This video will cover the concepts of collectivism and individualism. Collectivist cultures are cultures where the group is prioritized over the individual. These cultures typically agree upon solutions benefiting the highest number of people. These cultures are known for their increased feelings of support, higher unity, and a stronger sense of empathy. Individualistic cultures are cultures where the individual is prioritized. These cultures typically agree upon solutions allowing individual success, meaning the whole group could, theoretically, succeed. These cultures are known for their independence, celebration of diversity, and self-expression. To compare these two categories, we will use 6 lenses: priority, self-image, how individuals are viewed, kinship, decision-making, and communication. First is priority. As stated earlier, collectivist cultures tend to prioritize the group over the individual. Therefore, there is a focus on group solidarity and creating long-lasting relationships. Versus individualistic cultures that prioritize independence and this idea of freedom from others. Not to be confused with freedom meaning the right to be free, but the idea of having the freedom of independence. The second lens is self-image. Collectivist cultures put a weight on how the group is perceived. That weight then transfers to one's self-image. For example, doing that will tarnish the family's image is a phrase sometimes heard in collectivist cultures. People are thoughtful of how one person's actions can change people's perception of themselves. Therefore, their self-image is not only a reflection of them but also a reflection of people who are close to them. In individualistic cultures, the opposite is usually true. How people perceive a person is based on only the person. The person's family, friends, or group do not influence how they or others view them. The third lens is how individuals are viewed. There are news stories that cover this topic. Cultures where people are known to turn to a stranger and ask for assistance and people willing to give it. Collectivist cultures have a cultural network where people assist others in need. Whereas, individualistic cultures will rely or depend on people they have close connections or relationships with. They are more wary of individuals who are asking for assistance and rarely feel the want or need to ask strangers for help. Kinship is similar in both collectivist and individualistic cultures. No matter the culture, there tends to be a concern for oneself, immediate family, and close friends. However, in individualistic cultures, that is where the concern typically ends. Collectivist cultures tend to be more caring. At the same time, kinship also varies from person to person depending on lived experiences. When it comes to decision-making, collectivists tend to follow more of a defensive incremental strategy, meaning their decision process and implementation of their decision is more conservative and slower. They are not going to rush into decisions and plans that are rash. Instead, they may prefer a decision that focuses on small steps forward to ensure everything is following the plan. Individualistic cultures tend to follow a more expansive decisive strategy. The decisions have a feeling of haste and need to complete to reach the goal faster. Certainly, there can be benefits to both decision-making practices in different situations. The final lens we will look through is communication. The word communication here is not limited to language. For example, people from collectivist cultures will sometimes communicate through their actions instead of verbalizing their feelings or thoughts, such as always providing and offering food instead of expressing through language the ideas of love and support. Whereas, a person from an individualistic culture is more likely to express their feelings. Another example can be in how language is used. Collectivists may use language that gives you more information. I am going to the store to get the grocery items we need versus individualistic who focus more on the content. I am going to the store. The first person is putting focus on the reason they are going to the store. The second person is putting focus on what they are doing, and we can assume the second person is also getting the items needed. This is also an example of how culture and language go hand in hand. There are languages that would only allow the first sentence because the culture requires it. Whereas, there are languages that allow for flexibility because the culture also allows it. There is no one culture or country that is collectivist or individualistic. The two often overlap, and individual people inside a cultural group also have their own alignment. However, when looking at countries from a broad point of view, these are how some countries and cultures lean in terms of collectivism and individualism. China, Ecuador, Guatemala, India, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, and Venezuela are all seen as more collectivist than individualistic. Whereas Australia, Canada, Germany, Ireland, New Zealand, South Africa, the United Kingdom, and the United States are all seen as leaning more towards individualism than collectivistism.